Every single time you order food on an app, stream a movie, or just scroll through social media, there's this invisible conversation happening in the background. It's all powered by a really simple but incredibly powerful language that has totally taken over the modern web. So let's pull back the curtain and get into the story of JSON, the unsung hero of our digital world.
I mean, have you ever stopped to think about that? It's a really fundamental question. When your phone needs to get information from a server that could be halfway across the world, how do they speak the same language? For your feed to load in an instant or for your map to update as you move, that data has to be sent in a format that both sides can understand immediately, with zero confusion.
For a long time, the answer was something called XML. And look, it worked, but just look at it. You see all those repetitive tags? You have to open a tag, then close it. It's a lot. It's verbose. But then a new way started bubbling up, and it represents the exact same information, but with so much less noise. It just uses these simple key-value pairs. It's way easier for a person to read, and this is the crucial part, it's way faster for a computer to process. This, right here, was the beginning of a massive revolution.
Okay, so what exactly is this new format that completely changed the game? Let's do a proper introduction to our hero. It's called JSON, which stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Now here's the key thing. Even though it was born out of the world of JavaScript, its real power is that it's totally language independent. Think of it like a universal translator for data. It doesn't matter if an app is written in Python or Java or C#, they can all speak and understand JSON perfectly. It's the common ground that lets everything communicate.
But JSON's rise to the top didn't happen overnight. Nope, it started out in the early 2000s. Just a simple idea from a developer named Douglas Crockford. And for years, it just kind of grew quietly in the background. The big break, the real turning point, was in 2007. That's when the super popular Ruby on Rails framework decided to fully support it, and that just catapulted it into the mainstream. By 2014, what began as a small side project had become an official global standard.
And this quote from its creator, Douglas Crockford, just nails the whole philosophy. He wasn't trying to build some complex system that could solve every problem for every person. The goal was minimalism, simplicity. The idea was, the fewer rules you have, the easier it is for everyone to get on the same page. This focus on simplicity, that's the absolute secret to why JSON won.
And here's where that simple idea becomes a superpower. Just look at this. JSON's basic data types, objects, arrays, strings, numbers, they map almost perfectly to the fundamental building blocks of pretty much any modern programming language. For developers, this is a dream. It means there's no steep learning curve, you just get it, and you can get to work right away.
So this incredible ease of use, this simplicity, it set the stage for a major showdown. As the internet was evolving into the dynamic, interactive place we know today, a battle began to decide which data format would power it all. And trust me, the outcome would define our entire online experience.
So, back in the mid-2000s, this technology called AJAX came along, and it changed everything. It made websites feel fast and responsive, almost like desktop apps. Remember when Google Maps first launched, and you could just click and drag the map without the entire page having to reload? That was mind-blowing. That was AJAX, and the X in its name originally stood for XML. But developers very quickly realized that for these super-fast, fluid experiences, XML was just too slow and clunky. They needed something better.
And honestly, the data speaks for itself. Parsing, which is just a fancy word for how long it takes a computer to read and understand the data, is a huge deal. And JSON is just dramatically faster. Why? Because its simple structure means there's way less work for the computer to do. In a world where a fraction of a second of delay can make someone leave your site, that speed difference isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a total game changer. It means a faster, smoother experience for you.
And it's not just about speed. Because it doesn't have all those repetitive tags, JSON files are also way smaller. We're talking a 42% reduction on average. Sending less data over the internet means pages load faster, especially if you're on a mobile network. And it saves money for everybody, for the companies and for users with limited data plans. It's a true win-win.
So, when developers had a choice between something that was faster, smaller, and easier to work with, well, the choice was pretty obvious. They overwhelmingly voted with their code. Today, JSON isn't just the winner, it's the undisputed champion for web APIs, the gateways that let all our apps and services talk to each other. I mean, look at that. 87% market share. The battle for the web was over. It was a knockout.
Yep, the verdict was in. In the end, JSON's elegant simplicity and raw performance just won out.
The future would still be built on those awesome principles of fast, dynamic websites, but it would have a new, much more efficient engine at its core.
All right, so now that we know how JSON became the king of the hill, let's take a look at where you'll find it out in the wild today, powering the stuff you use every single day.
Honestly, the short answer is, where won't you find it? It is literally everywhere. It's the lifeblood of modern web services, it's the instruction manual for countless apps, it's the native language for modern databases. From the messages you send in a chat app to the settings in your favorite video game, JSON is the invisible framework holding our entire digital world together.
But JSON's job doesn't stop at just moving data around. Its flexibility has made it a really critical piece of the puzzle for securing our online lives, acting as a kind of language of trust when we need to prove who we are.
So when you log into an app or a website, the server will often hand you back this big string of characters that looks like a cat walked across your keyboard. This is called a JSON Web Token, or JWT for short. The best way to think about it is like a temporary digital passport. Instead of having to show your username and password every single time you click something, you just show this passport, and it proves you're allowed to be there.
And while it looks like total nonsense, it's actually just 3 JSON objects that have been encoded and stuck together. The first part, the header, just describes the token. The second part, the payload, contains the actual data, like your username. But the most important part is that last bit, the signature. That is a digital tamper-proof seal. If anyone tries to change the data in the payload, like trying to change the username to pretend to be someone else, that seal breaks, and the server will instantly know the passport is a fake and reject it.
But here's the thing. JSON's greatest strength, its amazing flexibility, can also be a weakness if you're not careful. To stop that flexibility from turning into total chaos, developers need a clear set of rules for how to use it. See, without a shared, agreed-upon structure, 2 systems can easily misunderstand each other. Imagine one system sends a product's price as the number 19.99, but the system on the other end is expecting it as the text string 19.99. It seems like a tiny difference, right? But that little mismatch can cause applications to crash. This is where that unmanaged flexibility can really come back to bite you.
The solution to this problem is something called JSON Schema. You can think of it as a strict blueprint or a contract that your data has to follow. It lays out, in a way that machines can read perfectly, exactly what a valid JSON document is supposed to look like. It's like a style guide for your data, making sure everyone is speaking the exact same dialect.
For example, look at the schema on the left. It's a rulebook that says an ID must be a number, and a name must be a string of text. So it acts like a bouncer at a club. When the first piece of data comes along, the ID is a number, so it says, yep, you're good, come on in. But the second one? The ID is text, in quotation marks. The schema sees that and says, nope, you're not following the rules, access denied. This one simple check prevents countless bugs before they can ever cause a problem.
And this whole idea of having rules and being responsible is even more critical when we talk about security. Using those JWT digital passports requires real care. You wouldn't just leave the keys to your house lying on the sidewalk, right? Same idea here. It means using strong encryption, making sure the passports expire quickly so a stolen one becomes useless. And, this is a big one, never, ever putting truly sensitive information like a password inside the token itself.
So, from this simple idea, this focus on minimalism, JSON grew to completely transform the internet as we know it. Its victory really proved that sometimes the simplest solution is actually the most powerful one. But as our digital world gets more and more complex with AI, with VR, with the Internet of Things, it makes you wonder, will simplicity keep on winning? Or will the next giant leap forward in how we communicate data require something else entirely?